Hello and welcome back to the channel. The timetable revision effective January 2 saw the end of express community shuttle operations on the Fraser Heights route. In this video, we will be taking a look at this unique operation of the past. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Let's begin. The 337 started service in 1991 as a new service connecting Fraser Heights and Guildford, with peak hour service continuing to and from Scott Road Station. A few years later, the Expo line would be extended to Surrey Central, giving us the current western terminus. The section west of Guildford became non-stop in 1997. However, in 2004, it was determined that demand did not meet the capacity of a standard bus. So in September of that year, it was renumbered to the Community Shuttle numbering scheme as Route C74. Not to mention, the fleet was switched to use 24-seater shuttle buses. Ridership increased as off-peak non-stop service to Surrey Central Station was introduced in 2006. In 2007, the standard buses were brought back. 4 years later in 2011, the route number was switched back to 337, giving us the most recent operation. Standard buses on weekdays and shuttle buses on the weekends. And although 2012 was the end of the new Portman Bridge project, a new HOV transfer to Regional Route 555 between Langley and Coquitlam was installed in 2014. Until September 2019, every second westbound trip on weekends only made it as far as Guildford. These were then extended to Surrey Central, giving us the current weekend frequency of 4 trips per hour between Surrey Central and Fraser Heights. And as overcrowding on weekends became a problem, weekend shuttle service was eventually abolished in favor of running standard buses as of January 2023. And under ridership recovery, the route recorded just over 112,000 boardings in fall 2021. We start this trip at Guildford Mall, the eastern end of the non-stop section. The mall serves as a primary destination for Fraser Heights residents. Connections are available to 108 Avenue as well as routes down to Newton Exchange, Port Kells, Langley, and White Rock. Eastbound buses depart from Bay 1. After having some technical issues sorted out, we head east aboard our community shuttle. This particular unit, 17533, a Girardin G5 built locally, started its career doing shuttle work in Surrey in 2017. Part of a batch of 59, it has 24 seats, steps, a bike rack up front, and a wheelchair lift at the back. It is generally quite rare to see minibuses having an important presence on fixed route service. CMBC has more than 150 minibuses in its fleet. Does your city operate minibuses on fixed route service? Let me know in the comments. The bus is empty as this was filmed on the last day of the previous service rotation on New Year's Day. The trip to Pacific Academy, 168 at 104, takes 14 minutes.
Next stop, 100 feet.
Just 3 minutes into this journey, we reached the transfer at Highway 1 for the regional bus. Since these freeway stops opened in 2014, the 555 has driven up ridership on this route. However, there seems to be some sort of kerfuffle between the Ministry of Transportation, the city, and TransLink about who maintains the stop. But let's just leave that for another time. Immediately to the south lies the East Guildford Retail Hub. At one point, there were plans to build a supplementary bus exchange at that location. These plans were ultimately scrapped. Fraser Heights service is a singular loop with the terminus at Chandos Pattison Auditorium. Fraser Heights service is a singular loop with the terminus at 168th Street and 104 Avenue. There's nothing special here aside from smaller retail hubs, another secondary school, and single-family homes. However, one has to wonder, with such a glaring coverage issue, how is the 337 posting similar performance to something like the 312 in Delta? We continue to 168 and 104 to continue this discussion.
At Fraser Glen Drive.
168 at 104 is the swap between westbound and eastbound trips. Immediately to the south is Chandos Patterson Auditorium, a theater known for hosting large events. Not to mention, the adjoining Pacific Academy is a high school with 1,500 students enrolled. Now let's get back to the point earlier. TransLink has been tinkering with the possibility of expanding coverage in Fraser Heights with a new 338 routes between Guildford and Fraser Heights. In short, this twice-hourly route plans to use the 160th Street overpass and serve areas further east. Now this is a big testimony to ridership growth on the 337 as it solidifies the need for more coverage. In fact, according to a 2019 file and a related land use approval by the city of Surrey, the eastern part of Fraser Heights, known as Abbey Ridge, is undergoing a review to upgrade the area into townhomes and condos. Regardless, this is big news, especially for riders of the regional bus as well as for workers down in Port Kells, which is the closest industrial area. Now what about the community shuttle driver hours? In short, these are reinvested into other upgrades. In the same timetable revision, two shuttle routes that gained significant increases are the 322 shuttle route between Newton and Scottsdale, as well as the 23 beach route in Vancouver. We continue back west to Guildford and Surrey Central. The trip should take 15 minutes to Guildford and a total of 22 minutes to Surrey Central.
At 156th Street. Street.
Back at Guildford heading west, we start the non-stop section. This 3.5 kilometer section is an oddity in the CMBC network, as essentially you have service faster than RapidBus making the trip to Surrey Central. And when that trip was done on a shuttle, that made it even more strange. So unless there are weekend noise complaints in Fraser Heights, there will not be a shuttle on this strange assignment anytime soon. Pulling into Surrey Central, let's do a quick review. Despite serving a singular loop, the 337 is essential in connecting commuters to and from the regional 555 bus and points further west. Plans for another Fraser Heights bus route solidify growing ridership in the area. This is further supplemented by the upgrading of shuttles to standard buses on weekends. At Surrey Central, we have our true western terminus. Now do note that some weekday midday trips heading westbound only make it as far as Guildford. But here at Surrey Central, the 337 terminates at Bay 5A along University Drive, which is a really odd setup considering not only its place, but its bay number as well. Anyways, buses from here serve pretty much every part of Surrey along with routes to White Rock and parts of Delta as well. Not to mention, the Expo Line SkyTrain serves areas further west such as New West, Burnaby, and Vancouver. The area is ripe with plans for redevelopment, which will ultimately cause further ridership increases. But for now, let's just hope the fleet will respond to everything that's gonna happen within the next 10 years. Anyways, that's my review for the 337. Please comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!